Happy Camper Radio with Skip Huber.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to another edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show, the only place to be when you're ready to talk camping. Camping is what we're about. Camping is all we talk about. It's episode 182. Have you ever thought about camping somewhere so far away, but it was really impossible to get there because it was maybe a 4 or 5 day drive? You don't want to drive that distance to go camping or hiking, do you? Well, on today's program, we're going to be talking with Mason Gravley of campcrate.net. He has a company where they can rent your camping gear to you, and not only that, have it packaged up and delivered to your destination when you arrive. We'll be talking with him on today's edition of Happy Camper Radio.
Happy Camper Radio.
And, of course, you can get in touch with us here at the Happy Camper Radio Show anytime by calling 404-537-2267. That's 404-537-CAMP. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker, add us to Circles on Google+, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Go to www.happycamperradio.com. You'll find all of our social media icons right there on the homepage. You click on any one of them, and you can connect right up to us. Take the studio tour. See what we've got going on behind the scenes. If you want to check out any one of our previous episodes going all the way back to 2013, click on the podcast tab right at the top of the page, and you'll find them right there. You can find us in the iTunes Store, on Podbean, Myra Guide, Stitcher, the BlackBerry Podcast Directory, iHeartRadio, Google Play Music, and now on Spotify. Tell your friends to tune in to Happy Camper Radio today. Right now, I'm going to venture on over here to the shout-out window because I have a lot of folks I want to say hello to, some individuals who recently signed up with us on social media. Let's say hello to them. Lori Klug Hoodman of Charlotte, North Carolina. M.H. Waters, Mike Fink of Seattle, Washington, Sally St. Pierre of Ottawa, Ontario, Brian Schneider, and Gordon Bennett of Richmond, Virginia. They like us on Facebook. To Acton Chen of Mexico, the King's Camp in Shawnee, Illinois, Carol Larkin of Livingston, Texas, Doug Baines of Toronto, Ontario, Canada, Mark Zammett of London, England, Thomas R. Kress, and finally to Nick Clark in Winter Springs, Florida. They're all following us on Twitter. Thank you all so very much. Glad to have you on board. More importantly, thank you for being a part of this great Happy Camper Radio family. Would you like to be a guest on the program? Is there something in the line of camping you'd like to talk about? I'm always up for some great conversation. Get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, and we'll make that happen. Where is the most unusual place you have ever pitched your tent before? Some folks will say to me, Skip, well, the most unusual place you have ever gone camping was your own backyard. Well, I tend to disagree with that. I think camping in your backyard is great. In fact, the very first time I went camping, I was like 12 years old, and I went camping in the backyard with my dad. If you want to sleep beneath the stars, if you don't want to take your gear and haul it and go to a local campground or a campground far away, then the campground in your backyard is the best place to be. But here in the metro Atlanta area, there is a chain of restaurants that have established a tradition among people who show up anytime a new restaurant opens. The restaurant is called Chick-fil-A. And most likely you have a Chick-fil-A restaurant not too far away from where you live. I think they're in like 48 states. But anytime Chick-fil-A opens a new restaurant, they put out a big ad. They let people know they're coming. And the day before, people show up at the restaurant. They pitch their tent in the parking lot to be one of the very first people to be there when their door opens up. They have a tradition where the first 100 people who show up at the new restaurant will get a free Chick-fil-A sandwich for a year. Now, I have never done this. I do know also that when a local Chick-fil-A may temporarily close their door to remodel, when they have their grand reopening, they'll do the same thing. But it's something you may want to watch out for anytime a Chick-fil-A restaurant opens in your area and they have a similar promotion. I think this is great. I think it's great for people to come out there. They pitch their tent. These are campers just like you. They're good, well-rounded individuals. They show up there. College student shows up with their homework and their laptops. They have card tables set up. They have their camp chairs. They bring their sleeping bag, and they have a great time. And they are there when the doors open up. And we've had a couple of these recently here in the metro Atlanta area. I'm going to be looking out for them when they open another restaurant out my way, because chances are I'm going to go there and pitch my tent as well and have a good time with all of these folks. Watch out for these promotions. You're in your neighborhood and see if they have them. If they do, go ahead and participate. Chick-fil-A is the restaurant. It's great tasting food. It's a great tasting chicken sandwich. On today's program, we're going to be talking with an individual who has a company that rents camping equipment. I have often looked in places in catalogs and things like that online, places I would love to go camping, but I know that I am not going to pack my gear in the car and drive clear across the country to go camping at the destination. 4 or 5 days on the road will wear you out. I think you already know that. But what if you were to fly to a destination? What if you were to take an airplane, put your family on the plane, you were to get there, and the camping equipment that you rented would be there waiting on you when you arrive? Think about that. That is something you may want to put your dreams on the table for later on down the road. But right now, you can talk to these folks about one of these camping trips that they can help you set up and plan. We have a representative of campcrate.net waiting to talk to us. Let's get him on the phone.
Happy Camper Radio. Happy Camper Radio.
And joining us on the Happy Camper Radio Show today is Mason Gravley of campcrate.net. Hello, Mason. How are you today?
I'm doing well, Skip. Thanks for asking. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful here for I think it's a Tuesday. You know, sometimes I lose track of my days, but, we do record these programs well in advance, and I'm really looking forward to talking with you today about campcrate.net. Why don't you tell us what campcrate.net is, what you have to offer folks who go camping and backpacking and things like that?
Great. It sounds good. I guess I'll start with a little background. I was visiting a friend of mine, his name is Chad, on a trip to Yosemite National Park. He lived there at the time. And when I stayed with him, we just got to talking about some stuff we were doing. And at the time, he was helping people set up their campsites at a couple different places in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And we started talking after that trip, and we came up with an idea stemming from Chad's original idea to start basically sending people on backpacking trips and then renting the equipment they need to do it. So what that turned into was Camp Crate. And you can visit us at campcrate.net. But what we do is if you're planning a trip somewhere to a park or just, somewhere outdoorsy, and you want to try backpacking maybe for the first time, a multi-day trip, we will help you plan that trip and then send all the gear to your front door or to your hotel that you're staying in or to a post office near the trailhead. We'll send it there. You can pick it up, use the gear for your trip that we've helped you plan, and then you put all the gear back in the box when you're done, and there's a return label inside the box. You just put it on the outside, and it comes right back to us.
That is so great. I'll tell you, I can imagine going camping somewhere for the very first time, and I don't want to spend a ton of money on camping equipment. Now, I'll be perfectly honest with you.
Right.
There are some members of my family, not my immediate family, who have tried camping before and says, I'm never going to do it again. And camping, you either love it or you hate it. There's no in between. But there's no use going out and buying all this camping equipment, spending a ton of money on it, only to go out and find out you're not going to be going out again. So this is kind of a great way to test the water, so to speak.
Absolutely. And, people are wanting less and less to own things outright, just to the sheer maintenance of it and the cost. So we've addressed that issue, and we will. And so, like I said, most people that book with us have never done this before. And, getting into camping and backpacking is overwhelming with the amount of products that are offered. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of companies out there. When they rent you gear, they give you 10 different options for each item, which is just overwhelming for someone that's not familiar with the gear. So our camp crates don't give you any options when it comes to sleeping bags or tents, other than length. If you're tall, you're going to need an extra long bag, or a bigger backpack, but it's, good quality gear, North Face gear, REI brand gear, everything you need, other than the clothes on your back and the shoes on your feet. We can help you get that gear in your crate and show you how to use it as well.
How much does each backpack weigh?
What we send you is probably about 10 to 12 pounds for one person. One of our popular kits is a couples crate, so you get to share a couple of the items like the tent, the water filter, and the camp stove. So that decreases the weight for each person to probably 8 to 10 pounds. And then you want to bring your own food. We do have the options. We're building the options this year to offer food in each trip. So we'll send you all the meals you need as well in the kit. Dehydrated food, of course, like Mountain House products, stuff like that. And then water will weigh you down, of course. But our kits are pretty lightweight.
So you can ship to any UPS store in all 50 states. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, we'll ship, and not just UPS stores. We'll ship directly to your hotel. It'll be waiting for you there in the lobby. We've done that plenty of times. To post office, we don't like to do post office. They're much more expensive. But UPS seems to be pretty reliable, and and a lot of people want it there at their house before their trip if they're leaving from their house to do a trip, so they can get familiar with the gear beforehand. So, yeah, we'll ship to almost anywhere that'll take a package.
Okay, here's the $1 million question. What is included in each crate?
Okay, awesome. Perfect. Yeah, so in each crate, you're going to get the backpack, of course, because you're going to need to carry your stuff in something. You're going to get a tent. We send one size tent. It's a two-person tent. That way, if there are two people, you can share it. But if there's one person, you can keep all your stuff inside with you. But even for two people, there's a fly on the tent that you can store your stuff underneath the awning type thing. But anyway, the backpack, the tent, sleeping bag, a sleeping pad, which is important for heat retention and comfort. Then you have a headlamp, see at night. You're going to have a camp stove, a jet boil camp stove that is great for eating out of and cooking your food in. Very simple to use. And then you're going to have a water filter in each kit so that you can replenish your water supply and know that it's going to be clean and filtered and safe to drink and to cook with. So those 7 items will be within the camp crate.
Now, I'm not a big backpacker. I'm a big camper, and when I get to camp and I get set up, I get very lazy, and I don't want to do too much of anything. But for folks who are going backpacking, we know that it's important to pack light. So each one of these backpacks can, a young adult could put one of them on their back, and they'll be comfortable on the trail.
Absolutely. Yeah, we had a group last year. I think it was a married couple with their 4 daughters, ranging from like ages 10 to 15. And so we had a smaller kit for the daughters, and every one of them said it was, light enough to not be uncomfortable carrying all day. And we also have a lot of people that do hybrid trips. They'll want to spend maybe 1 or 2 nights backpacking, and then the other nights camping, like have a stationary camp with a little more robust kitchen and campfire and tent and whatnot. So, we have a wide range of abilities and interests in the people that rent from us, but it's a very well-rounded kit that will get you through a number of terrains and weather and environments. So
in addition to the food and the clothing, are there any other recommended items that backpackers should bring? I'm sure that we're needing like disposable dishware, paper plates, plastic spoons, and things like that in order to keep things light, correct?
Yes, yeah, you can bring really lightweight gear with that. We also, I forgot this, we send sporks with each one, a plastic spork. You can use that to cook with. There's a knife function on it. But our camp stoves you can actually eat out of. They're containers that you can cook the food in, but they also have a handle where you can just eat right out of that. And and you can drink out of it too. It has a spout to drink out of if you want that. But the one thing that we can't put in the crates are fuel canisters. so we can't send those over the mail. So we recommend everyone, when you book a crate, we remind you a couple times that you will need to purchase a fuel canister at a sporting goods store, and they're like $4 or $5. So that's just something we can't legally send through the mail.
I understand. How much advance notice is required before you actually pack things up and ship them off to a destination?
Typically, we need about 3 to 4 days advance notice, depending on where it's going. We're based in Denver, Colorado, so if it's going to the East Coast, it might take closer to 4 to 5 days, but on the West Coast, it could be 2 to 3 days. So we typically just need a handful of days, and we can get you your gear to wherever you need it to go. And then, like I said, once you're done with the gear, you just put the shipping label on it and return it right back, and we'll get it when we get it at that point.
That's free shipping from your destination, and also when they put that return label on and send it back. So the purchaser, or should I say the renter in this case, doesn't have to worry about any postal fees whatsoever.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we've had situations where there's been, like the Postal Service doesn't want you to put return labels in the crate themselves. They want you to purchase that at the post office. So if someone is dead set on a post office or some other form that we recommend, they'll have to pay for it up front, but we'll reimburse them after the trip, up to what we would charge for our shipping. So yeah, but in a typical crate, the shipping is totally included in the price. So the price you pay for is all you got to do.
How many people do you typically accommodate when you send out a crate? Have you ever had parties of like 5 or 6 individuals?
Yes, actually. So typically, I'd say the most popular is our couples crate, 2 people wanting to travel. It's the most economical. And that's just that doesn't have to be for couples. That could be for friends or father-son, father-daughter, mother-daughter trips, whatever. But yeah, we've had up to 6 people rent a crate, and at that point, we get requests for people. We only need 1 camp stove between the 6 of us, so we have a function on our website where you can make a group or a family crate where you can kind of choose exactly what you want in the kit for unique situations like that. But yeah, we've had multiple 5 to 6 person groups out at one time, which took some takes being organized so that you don't get orders mixed up and send the wrong stuff to the wrong places. Because some of our orders are so big, we'll have to send 3 to 4 crates to the same location. Because we don't want to send you a crate that's, big as a pickup truck carrying everything.
Understand.
We want to break it down to where it's manageable. You know how it is carrying camping stuff back and forth in the car.
Oh, I've done that many, many times over the years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
And when you get the gear returned to you, you actually clean this up and get it all prepared for the next individual. So, everything's clean, everything's sanitary, and it's just like, you're ready to rent this out again, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, we've had to turn around gear. There's been days we waited for gear to return to our location just to turn around and ship it right back out within an hour. But what we'll have to do, we'll have to clean the bags, we'll have to vacuum them out, and we'll have to sanitize the sleeping pads, wash the sleeping bags, and backwash the water filters, sanitize those. The bladders that we send you to store water will have to be cleaned. Yeah, everything is definitely thoroughly cleaned for the next individual or group to take out. And it comes back dirty. There's people who spend a week using our gear, and they'll come back dusty and muddy and grimy, full of dirt and twigs, and we'll clean it all out and get it ready to go out again. I mean, that's what it's for. So at some point, you can't expect it to be pristine because you're going to take this stuff into some pretty tough environments.
And let's not forget the rain factor too. I repeatedly said this on the program. I can't tell you how many times. When I go camping, Mother Nature follows me. I can at least count on one day of rain when I go camping. So, yes, just like yourself, when I bring my gear home, I'm drying it out, I'm airing it out, and hopefully I'll have a nice sunny day in my backyard where I can just put everything up and let it dry out for an afternoon before putting it away and getting ready for the next camping trip.
Yeah.
Yes. How can folks find out about campcrate.net?
Well, they can visit us, campcrate.net. They can just Google Camp Crate, should be the first link. They could check us out our website there, and then there's a function they can get in contact with us. And what also comes with each of our kits, if you need it, is additional trip planning. So if you're not totally sure if you want to do this or you can do this, we'll help you find a trip that works for you and hopefully get you going, because we want people to experience what camping is like, especially if they've never done it. It is probably my favorite thing to do. I try to sleep, 100 nights a year in the outdoors just because it's that rewarding of an experience. And, in today's world, with people getting more and more glued to their phones, it's going to be important to have the news like this that allow camping and backpacking, make it easy as possible for people that are interested.
Like myself, I don't like traveling too far because I believe if you're going to be on the road for a long period of time, that's going to take away from some valuable time that you could be spending outdoors. But in a situation like you have here, if you're going to take a plane trip, say if I'm going to leave from Atlanta, Georgia, and I want to go all the way to Seattle, Washington, I don't have to haul all my gear with me. All I have to do is log on to campcrate.net and make my arrangements right there, correct?
Exactly. We've actually had, that's been a surprising portion of our renters have been people that come from other countries or another part of the country that don't want to carry all their gear and aren't necessarily planning. It's not a backpacking trip. It might be a business trip, but they have 3 free days. And so they find us and we help them have an experience that maybe they couldn't have otherwise.
Okay, so folks, if you're looking to go camping, if you're looking to go backpacking and you don't have any gear, perhaps if you do have gear and you're going to be making that long-distance trip and you don't want to be hauling all of that camping equipment with you, get in touch with Mason at campcrate.net. You can find him on the website. Mason, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for being on the program today, and I'm sure we're going to be in touch later on down the road.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Skip, for having me. And I will say this, our website is getting rebuilt over the winter, so if some of the functions seem a little quirky, just contact us. Our contact page is on there, and then we'll help you answer any questions you have.
Okay, thank you, Mason. Appreciate you being here. And there you have it, friends. There's no reason at all why you cannot plan for one of these long-distance camping trips you have only dreamt about. Mason will be more than happy to talk with you and help you determine what your needs are. So all you have to do is hop on a plane, get to that destination, however far away it may be, and he'll have your gear waiting for you when you arrive. It's a new concept. It's a great way to put campers in the right place, and he's ready to help you today. It's time now for our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Happy Camper Radio.
And this week, we are going to go out to the state of Maryland. This is a wonderful little campground to consider. It's the 15-Mile Creek Campsite. It's run by the National Park Service. The 15-Mile Creek Campground is located at mile 140 on the C&O Canal towpath in the town of Little Orleans. The campsites are drive-in large enough to park a small fifth-wheel travel trailer, an RV, or a pop-up with a 20-foot maximum. The 15-Mile Creek Campground is adjacent to the confluence of 15-Mile Creek and the Potomac River on the Maryland side. Tucked away in the mountains of western Maryland and adjacent to the Green Ridge State Forest, the natural beauty is plentiful at all times of the year, but especially in the autumn. If you're a fall camper, keep this in mind for your fall camping destination. The most popular activity on the 15-Mile Creek Campground is campers can boat and fish. The campground has a boat ramp for easy access to the Potomac River for kayakers and fishermen alike. Be sure to acquire about a Maryland fishing license if you are 16 years of age or older. The campground has 9 single drive-in sites. There's one group site available that does not have direct vehicle access. The group sites can accommodate up to 30 people. Each site will accommodate up to 8 campers. Single campsites have a picnic table, a fire ring, and a grill. Protected pit toilets are located between campsites 3 and 4. Potable hand pump water is available from April 15th through October 31st. Outside of that date range, be prepared to truck in your own potable water. Check out their activities and amenities right there on their website. Also take note of the know before you go items. And if you haven't already signed up for a recreation.gov account, now would be a perfect opportunity to do that. When you click on the featured campground tab, look for the little gray box in the upper right-hand corner. It says sign in or sign up. If you use recreation.gov, if you enjoy their campgrounds as much as I do, you will definitely want to have an account. It makes your reservation process go so much smoother anytime you use recreation.gov. This is a wonderful campground, a nice little campground in the state of Maryland. If you're up that way, if you plan to be passing through anytime between now and November 15th of this year, consider the 15 Mile Creek campsite. It is our featured campground of the week here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Skip Huber on happycamperradio.com.
And as always, if you have a campground you'd like for us to feature on the program, get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com. Be sure to include a link to the campground website. And that's going to wrap up today's edition of the Happy Camper Radio Show. Always a pleasure getting behind the microphone and talking about camping. The weather's going to be warming up shortly, so be prepared to take the family out there and enjoy. Remember, friends, every pet deserves a loving home. I want you to do exactly like I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. You can find us online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.happycamperradio.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Camp Talker. Add us to Circles on Google+, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. And no doubt about it, my friends, you hang with me long enough, I will make a happy camper out of you. Talk to you again real soon. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.
Happy Camper Radio.